Guys, good morning. This is Lucas with Electric Spokes and Ego Depot. Today we're going to be assembling a brand new bike. It's a Velotric, and let's take a look and see what we got here. Today we're assembling this bad boy right here. This is a Breeze. It is in the Scarlet Red. It's a large size bike. It's a really pretty red, and this is what we're assembling today. This is the Velotric Breeze 1. It's a pretty nice bike. We've had really tremendous success with Velotric. They are just a really good bike. Good technology. Not only do they got good technology, they are an amazing bike. They ride smooth, they're comfortable, they're reliable. I don't get Velotrics in here hardly ever for repairs, and when I do, it's usually from an accident or a customer dropping it or something like that. So that's a good thing. And today we're assembling a Velotric Breeze in Scarlet Red. It's going to be cool. This beautiful Scarlet Red bike. Yeah, she's looking good. It's all here. She is. Right. This is the accessory pack. Accessories. Hang on to that. All right, let's see what's in the accessory pack, huh? There we go. Look at that. So you got your manuals and tools, you got your accessories, and you got your charger. Box 3 and 4 are one box, and then underneath here, you also have your pedals. So this is some of the stuff that's going to be installed on the bike right there. And then the customer gets this pack with all the accessories and stuff like that. So, all right, so let's take a look at the bike here. So this is a Velotric Breeze. It's very well packaged. I really like how it's packaged. It's got Apple Find My on it, so which is really cool in my opinion. So if your bike gets stolen and you have it hooked up to Find My, you can track your bike. UL listed certified with the E525107, that's their verification code. There's another sticker on the down tube that has the verification on there as well. Well packaged, well protected. When you're clipping those bands, you want to make sure not to scratch the paint or the wheel. Be careful using these clippers, because you don't want to damage, scratch the paint or anything like that. Customers will point that out. All right, there she is undressed. I really like the Breeze. It's just a smooth riding bike, good value, good technology, and the price point's great. And it's not overly complicated, but it's also not cheap. In quality is what I should say. I can't tell you how many times I've said it before. I can't tell you how many times I've worked on bikes that were just absolute junk and they were brand new. And it's so hard to get parts for them. Velotric has been an absolutely stellar brand for us. We've been very pleased with it. If you're looking for a new e-bike, be careful what you buy. You may be tempted by those lower prices on Amazon, but I can assure you those lower prices on Amazon can be deceiving. A lot of those places are fly-by-night. They could disappear the next day. They may not honor a warranty. Let's say the bike arrives damaged or not working, you'd have to fight with them. Right now, I'm in an ongoing email fight with a company that was from Amazon to get parts covered. I've been fighting them for 3 months. Yeah, the customer has not had their bike for 3 months, brand spanking new. And I'm still fighting with them to get them to cover the warranty. And they keep asking, every time I provide what they ask for, they move the goalpost and want more and more and more and more. And then they want you to jump through hoops and do backflips and touch your toes and belly button at the same time. It's getting crazy. So yeah, be careful what you buy online. Do your research and don't be deceived by fake reviews. Do your research. So let's go ahead and continue assembling this bad boy. That's Velotric Breeze in Scarlet Red. Got your manual right here. And then your toolkit, which is pretty handy to keep with you on the road if you need minor repairs. Right, so we need the pedals. And they're labeled very nicely. You got your left and your right. It's also labeled on there so you don't get them confused, because they are definitely specific to the side. You can't just put them on one side or the other. They're not universal. These are accessories. This is the display. I love the packaging. I like that they put the display in the box so it's not damaged in shipping. This is very smart packaging. You got your display here and your headlight. This is the headlight right here. So you got a couple reflectors, cable management, and your belt. You want to be really careful when you're doing this. You don't want to scratch anything. So it's really cold here in Florida. In the morning it got down to 34 degrees this morning. For Florida, that's freezing ice cold. Where are you from? What's your temperature where you live? Let me know in the comments. You got snow? I miss snow. I was born and raised in Washington State, and then I lived in Alaska for a while. Alright guys, so we're going to put the handlebars in now. That's a number 4mm right there, number 4. So when you put these fasteners in, make sure you don't tighten them all down all the way, because you want them to be a little bit loose so the other fasteners go in without getting snagged. Once you get all 4 in, then you can tighten them gradually, one at a time. And make sure you put these crosshairs right in the middle. That's your lining up right there. So you want to line that up right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. You want to make sure these crosshairs right here are lined up with the those little white marks right there. If the customer wants it adjusted, we can do that, but this is where we set it. Alright, now let's move on to the next we're putting on the display. Carefully remove that from the box. And then you got to check the connections to make sure the pins are not damaged. You want to make sure those pins, I don't know if you can see that or not, but you want to make sure the pins are not bent or damaged. And when you plug these into the bike harness, be very careful. You got to go straight on because you don't want to get these pins bent. If you bend these pins, your life is going to be very unpleasant. There's no fixing that really. These pins are very fragile. They're easy to break. If you do bend them and you try to straighten them out, you'll probably end up breaking them. So be very careful. There's little arrows here. I don't know if you can see that little arrow there. The little arrow there. I don't know if you can see it. Focus. Focus. I don't know if it's going to focus. There's a little tiny arrow right there. And that arrow lines up with the arrow on the harness. And same with here. This has also an arrow. So they all have little arrows right there. So that's how you basically know to plug it in, where to plug it in. All right, we're gonna put on the display here, and the display is a number 3mm. So check the 3, yep, that's a 3mm. So we're gonna walk over here, and we're going to remove these real quick. Don't lose these things. These things like to fly all over the floor, and once they hit the floor, they disappear. It's like a magic trick. So you want to put the display like this. Let's see. Put the wires up here. There we go. Velotric. Try to center that best you can. And attach the hardware to keep it securely in place. Now when the customer comes to pick up their bike, we fit it to them. We just don't give it to them willy-nilly and let them go. We have them sit on the bike and we make adjustments so the handlebars are fit them right and they got a good grip and their shoulders or postures the right way. So it helps us make sure that the customer's happy and that there's no issues with the fitment of the bike, so the customer is comfortable on the bike. It's part of riding the bike is making sure that you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, you're not going to enjoy it. If you're not going to enjoy it, you're not going to ride it. So one thing I've seen people do is when they adjust these is they'll grab this screen display and try to move it back and forth. Please don't do that, it'll break. Make sure you loosen these and then grab it right here and move it forward or backwards. Do not grab it like this and try to move it forward. You're going to break it. Please don't do that. Now we're going to make the connections. This one and this one go right here. Ta-da! And then the green one goes to the green one. That's for this right here. And there we go. Voila! And this is for the headlight right here. So I got to put on the headlight next. This is the headlight we're going to install next. It's a pretty neat little headlight. It's 500 lumens for this tiny thing. It's pretty awesome. 500 lumens IPX6. This is right here is where the headlight attaches. This is a number 4. Plug it in. Nice and tight. This is a good high-grade aluminum. You don't want to pull the threads out, so don't over-tighten it. Make it nice and snug, but don't over-tighten it, or you could pull the threads out. I've seen customers pull threads out before on their brand new bikes. So just be real careful about when you tighten. Every few weeks, check to make sure that your fasteners are staying together and nothing's coming loose, because they do from time to time wiggle loose. That's normal. It's nothing to be alarmed about. It's just, that's the nature of the game. So just check your stuff and make sure everything's nice and stable. All right, headlights installed. Now I just need to secure this. You could use a 9mm for this, but I'm just cheating. There we go. All right, that's the headlight install and the handlebars install. So basically that's the headlight and the handlebars installed with the display. So now we're just going to move on to the the pedals. We're going to move on to the pedals. All right, so we're going to stick the pedals on now. These guys right here are going on next. So this is the right side. And so this is the left hand side. You can see by the little left right here, and you put it on the left side. And there we go. Pedals on. Let's put this fender on next. Front and rear fender. It's for our Scarlet Red Breeze. This is what's next. Let's get going. Hopefully the hardware's in here, because sometimes we get these fenders without the hardware. There's the hardware. Alright. So this is the hardware. This is the hardware that it comes with. You can see all the various things to attach a fender with. Front and rear fender for the Breeze. There's the front fender. It's got this little attachment point right here. That's what it looks like underneath it. This is the rear fender, obviously. It's the big one. And it's got an attachment point right here. And then the cable, the wire mount goes right here, and it hooks onto the frame of the bike. So that's basically that. So let's do the front fender first, because that's the easiest. So the first thing we're going to do is attach the hardware, which is for this guy right here. This is basically going to go on like this. This goes over this. This goes into here, so it doesn't look dirty. And then this goes on the back. Goes in like that. Sorry, you can't see that. Let's see. So you basically screw it in here. Basically line it up right there. And then you put the screw in through there. And you just screw it in. It's like that. So now it's going in. Just got to line it up. There we go. And now this can move and mount onto the fender. So now we use one of these to secure to the bike itself. So there's two ways that you can do it. So you can put it through the front or the rear. It's kind of hard to say. So it can go right here, or it can go behind it. It can go front or back. And when I say it, I mean this right here, this thing right here. So I can put it right here, or I can put it back here. It looks cleaner in the back, but when it's in the front, you get a little bit more clearance, a little bit more coverage of the wheel. So it's, you know, that's a good 4 inches right there maybe. So I'm going to put it in the back just because that's probably what the customer's going to want, a clean look. And then I'll put a piece of fastener in the front. I'm not going to leave this exposed because that could start rusting, so I'm going to put a fastener in there so it won't rust. So you just turn the handlebars so you can fasten this in. It's going to go in tight because it's got that Loctite on there. That's what you want. You don't want it to be loosey-goosey. So now that's it. Now that it's in up here on the back side, now we're going to secure it down here, right here. This is going to be for the arms, which are going to go right there. And that will keep it nice and protected. These are adjustable. You just loosen this right here and this slides in and out, and you tighten it where you want it. Alright, nice and secure fender. So, good. Now let's put on the back fender. Right there is where the fender attaches, that little fastener right there, and it comes up. They go into right here so that the that holds the fender support, and that way it's all secure in there. So let's go ahead and get this attached real quick. First things first, let's get this out of the way. So we're going to set the fender down over the top. It's going to come all the way down to here. Let's tighten this down. You want to push the fender forward so when you're tightening it down, it doesn't rub against the tire. You don't want to, you want to put it as far away from the tire you can within reason. Alright, fender is installed. I had to use my own hardware because the hardware they provided wasn't acceptable. So I used my own. That's why I keep lots of extra hardware. You got nice clearance between the fender and the wheel. And that way it won't, there's no chance of it rubbing. Sounds good. Alright, let's check the gears, make sure it fits right. Good to go. So we gotta wake up the battery. To do that, we take the battery out with the key here, and then we push the button on the battery to get it to activate, because it's not activated. Basically, the battery's in sleep mode, and it's perfectly fine, doesn't hurt anything. So take this out, put the key in, pop the battery, push this button right here until the lights come on. All right, now the battery's awake and ready to use. Make sure you do that. If you don't wake up the battery, your bike's not going to run. All right, so let's turn it on. Power button is right up here, and she's alive. Turn it up to torque number 5. Let's hit that throttle, and the motor's working. I like how it accelerates slowly, doesn't push you off in a fast pace, so you're comfortable. And then the torque torque is a little bit different. It's harder to do when it's on the rack. Yeah, you can hear that working. Yeah. Looking good so far. Let's test the headlight. Alright, so you hold down the plus button. You hold down the plus button and the headlight should turn on. There's the headlight. Alright, hold down the plus button again to turn the headlight off. Walk mode is you hold down the minus button and the motor will start going at about 2-3 miles an hour. That's the walk mode. And you let go of the minus button and it will stop. So hold down the minus button to start walk mode and let go of the minus button to end walk mode. It just basically helps you move the bike without having to push the bike. The bike will push itself. Alright, so that's it. It's got hydraulic brakes. It's got the Tektros. It's a good quality bike. You cannot go wrong with the Velotric, any Velotric. In fact, I'm getting myself a Nomad too, I believe. So this one's a large. Yeah, it's got Apple Find My on it. I'm fanboying right now. I'll stop. Put on the front tire now. Where did I put the front tire? I'm going to install the front wheel, which is pretty self-explanatory and fairly simple to do. So let's go ahead and put the front wheel on. Alright, so we're going to install the front wheel now. If you look right here, there's a little thing inside the brake that's holding the pads. So the pads don't accident. So you make sure you pull that out before you install the wheel. This right here. If you don't pull that out before you install the wheel, the brake caliper or the brake disc won't go into that slot, and then you'll have problems. So make sure you pull that out first. And then this goes in here. There we go. Gotcha. It's number 6. And there we go. It's rubbing. So the fender's rubbing a little bit, so I'm going to adjust it. And like I said earlier, to adjust it, you just loosen these things right here, just pull it back, and it will adjust. Yeah, so you undo this. Same on the other side. Pull them back, get them off the wheel, and then tighten them down. It's that simple. Don't over tighten these. This is just going into plastic and a little nut there. It's unnecessary to make these super tight. Just nice and snug. If you think you have to torque these down like a torque monster, then you're just going to break it. So you hear that brake rub? This needs a brake adjustment. So let's do that. Brake adjustments are perfectly normal and acceptable on a new bike. All right, 5mm. Loosen the brakes, make an adjustment. Disc has a little bit of a bend in it, so just work that out. Right there. There's a bend right there. So I'm going to bring it out here. Give it a little bit of oomph. Problem solved. I test the brake to make sure it's working properly, so I spin it and I do a couple of brake checks to make sure that this is not going to wiggle out of place. It's secure. I didn't miss anything, because there's been times where you can adjust this, send it out to the customer, and they push the brake one time and it starts rubbing again because something's not quite right. So I always double check to make sure that it's working right. So if you do this at home, when you check your brake, make sure that you're checking to make sure that it's right and that it's not going to rub after the first application of brake pressure. All right, so this bike has been assembled. That's it for this bike, for the main body. So we got the wheels on, we got the derailleurs all set, the brakes are all set, there's no rubbing in the rear brake. Now these seats are extremely comfortable. When I had my brand new bike, I rode it for a first week without one of these seats. My bum was always sore. When I switched to this seat, I don't get sore bum anymore. So I highly recommend one of these seats for your bike if you're going to buy it. They're kind of a pain in the butt to install, but well worth it. It's on there. Suckers on there. Wowzers. Turn out. Turn out. All right, that's how you put a seat together. These are the adjustments here. This raises it and this lowers it. That way you can, basically is what you can do is by changing those screws, you can change the angle of the seat depending on how comfortable you like, but it usually sets at an angle like this. I know it looks weird out of the bike, but this is how it angles. So let's go ahead and stick it back in the bike and then this bike will be done. All right, so there we go, and it looks like I got it pretty level from the beginning, so we're set to go. All right, so that's it. This bike is done.